Give everybody a moment to join. I hope you're doing well. Little Apollo got up early and wanted to say hello. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome to your weekly collective reading. We are going to basically get started a little bit earlier today, just in case the inclement weather wreaks havoc, I know, Apollo, with either the power or the internet. I wanted to make sure I was able to get this out to everybody. So kisses from Apollo. Let's get started. If it's your first time here, welcome. What this is basically is a 7-day forecast. It's going to walk you through all of the opportunities, the ups, the downs, the in-betweens for the week ahead. And I always begin with some channeled messages coming straight from source. Welcome everybody today. It's good to see you. And yes, I'm safe, but I wanted to get ahead of the storm because last night I saw that there were like warnings from the power company and the internet company saying there could be outages today. So better to start the day off early and get ahead from all of that. All right, everyone. So we're going to begin with channeled messages. As I said, this comes from Spirit. And what I was picking up on in dreams was a need and an opportunity to kind of focus on things to kind of get rid of in your life, pruning, if you will. And sorry, wrong camera here. Let's go to this one. And what I was seeing with the pruning was going a little bit too far. So this is going to be an opportunity to basically find that happy medium. So let's talk about this. So when it comes to pruning, for those of you that are fellow gardeners, if you do it at the wrong part of the season, sometimes you can stunt growth. If you go too far in pruning, rather than encouraging growth, it can actually hurt the plant. So there's this, just this kind of magic amount where you take off a little bit here, take off a little bit here, and then suddenly things are great. But the season, the timing, and how far, these are the sort of questions here. So of all the possible cards that I was connecting with, Temperance seemed best because it reminds us of the importance of taking one step at a time, not sort of making these massive movements, right? And also, if you are taking time to not only sort of like slowly go through things, but also pay attention to what's going around you as you do that, it also gives you a chance to course correct as necessary. So slow and steady when it comes to taking things out of your schedule or your life, etc. There was a flip side to this as well. I was talking about the timing, but in addition to this, we want to make sure that you give something ample time to show up and to grow and to develop. So in your life, this can represent love, relationships. It can also be personal development. You want to make sure that you're taking time and allowing for something to have the proper amount of space and opportunity to grow. And you can think of this even for those of you that enjoy watching like TV and you might binge a series. You know that sometimes it doesn't get its sort of like footing until maybe 3 or 4 episodes in, or sometimes even a full season, because characters have to be fleshed out, situations and arcs have to be fleshed out. Our life is very much the same way, where sometimes you're just kind of getting a lay for the land and figuring out, how do I feel about this? Where do I sit? So this is a chance to balance things out. Both of these cards, you'll notice that the Temperance Angel has 2 cups and is kind of balancing out emotions. And the Two of Pentacles is about balancing out resources, time and energy, or what you want to focus on. I think both of these are going to help us today as we look at the cards to make some better decisions, to hopefully release what doesn't serve you, but also to not discount something before it has a chance to show its potential. All right, everyone, let's get into your 7-day forecast, which is the next piece. This is going to take you through the week ahead. Let's go ahead now. We can turn the camera down. Let me just zoom in. And welcome, everyone. It's great to see you. I'm glad you could join today. And let's see what the cards have in store. All right. Let's get this all set up. And we will begin here with the card that represents today. So for this Sunday, we've got the Eight of Cups in reverse. So for many of you, this is a chance to figure out, do I want to do this again? Am I ready to release something? One of the things that you can do in this sort of process is get some space. So the Eight of Cups is, especially when it's reversed like this, it can be an overdue vacation. It can be a sabbatical. It can simply be you saying, I need 5 minutes. Whatever you need to take to kind of just be in your thoughts and collect your thoughts, that is one of the key tenets of this card. So if you need to do that, by all means, create that space, and separation from what it is that you're focusing on. It can be really, really essential so that you're not kind of being solely influenced by what others are saying, by outward appearances, by expectations. You can really just kind of go within and think, how does this feel? And how is this connecting to my larger sort of goals and purposes? This can also be a decision to take a break from something so that you can pursue something else. So for those of you that might want to decide to focus more on family and have a family, this could be, taking a leave of absence. It can also be a decision maybe to go back to something. So if you left something and think now it's time to go back, it's all of this. So today is a day to make your mind up. Are you in? Are you out? Do you want to stay? Do you want to go? And also, do you need some space to consider that? Okay, so it's a mostly introspective card, and today is going to be mostly introspective for many of you. Let's go ahead and move to Monday. We have the Nine of Swords in reverse. It's favorable to get some of the fear-based or lower frequency cards reversed because it shows the lessening of that. And so in the upright position, we can see someone that is really feeling the weight of, the pressure of, making sure that they're doing their best, meeting expectations. Sometimes you go down a rabbit hole and think, well, what if this happens or what if that happens? And it doesn't necessarily always add anything to the equation other than, sort of like anxiety. So what you can do on Monday is things like meditation, exercise, focusing on what you can control, what you are looking forward to. It's basically letting go of the stress. Some of you may also be wanting or needing to sort of like prioritize sleep and rest a little bit more. This would be a good day to take off because both of these, this is showing a necessary break. This is why you want to maybe do it today if you can, or plan today to take it easier tomorrow so that you can start to get into some of the better energy that we're seeing across the board here, okay? Monday's leading to a better Tuesday here. So Monday, you just have to do the stress release and stress management. And as we look at Tuesday, it's so much better. Tuesday is one of the bright spots of the week. We have the Two of Wands. Two of Wands I always pair with either the High Priestess or Magician, because once you know what you're trying to do, then it's just a matter of believing it and tuning in. So you're going to be doing a little bit of both, a little bit of practical planning and assessing. It can also be fun where you're thinking, what if this, why not that? So the planning and the dreaming is going to be a big part of Tuesday. And then the latter part of the day will be focusing on really getting psyched up. So sort of like what an athlete would do before going into an important sort of competition. They have to believe and envision how it is that they're going to succeed, get into the feeling of success. And when you do that, then you create a firmer foundation for the midweek point here. The Four of Pentacles, I'll take it, but I just recently did a reading, a one day reading on this, or one card reading on this, where I said that, you want to kind of like open your heart. So with the card in reverse, it's actually showing that you're already there. And you can see if we go in really close here, that is where the work has to be done whenever the Four of Pentacles is there. They're focusing a little bit more on the solar plexus with the colors on this and even the placement of that. But I would say typically I focus on the heart because that fourth coin is usually right over top of this. So what can it represent? Finally understanding that you don't need to hold on to something, because the card did come through in the reverse state. So Wednesday's bringing a sort of internal understanding that you'll be just fine with or without something. And when you can have that sense of disconnect with it, then suddenly everything is going to be, a lot easier to decide what it is that you want to do. Don't take the first thing that comes your way if it's not feeling right. This can sometimes represent an offer that is less than optimal. So someone might be trying to, pay you too little or take advantage of your generosity. So having good boundaries and limits is also going to be important, and asking for assistance if you need it as well. Okay? Now let's focus on the energy for Thursday. On Thursday, we have the Eon or Judgment, and this is a call to action. And with the card in the upright position, it's pretty fortuitous. And this also came through this week. We're getting a lot of cards that I've already seen, and so we're basically, I'm seeing that there's still some energy around these two very, very important things. So with Judgment, sometimes there's confusion. We got both Justice and Judgment, so let's talk about the difference. With Judgment, typically a decision has either been handed to you, you know what to do, or something's just been kind of like rubber stamped and decided. What you need to figure out next is, how do I want to react to that? So you don't need to affect the decision. The decision's made. It's now the next step. And in this one, we see a couple of things. Sometimes it's like, well, I'm done with that, and then it's a second chance. Sometimes someone else says they're on their way out, and you're like, well, I got to bounce back from this. This is second chances. This is renewal. This is about not repeating the past, learning from the past, allowing it to inform the future, and knowing that this is a clean slate. So this would be a great day to just try new things and to lean into what it is that you want to do. And also, it's a card of acceptance. So if somebody comes and tells you something, you don't have to change them or do anything about it. You could just say, is this what you want? That's fine. I accept your choice. It's not, I support you. So it can be one of acceptance and support, because someone just maybe needs that from you as well. Okay? And I think that's pretty much everything for Thursday. It's a powerful day because it's one step away from the world. And typically, you can think of it this way. It can also be a reality check within, where you're just thinking, are we going to do this? Yeah, we're going to do this. So it can be that final acceptance of the path ahead, and then expansion comes after that. As we look at the energy of Friday, speaking of expansion, we have completion here, Four of Wands. But this is really good for relationships. So on Friday, we have basically the ability to partner and the ability to create a firm foundation in a partnership as well. And as I'm looking at this, what I like about this is the equal energy that both partners are putting into this. So we see them on either side of this wheel. We see all this passion and energy beneath them, and they're both steering the ship. So a lot of times in relationships, there's someone who's chasing the other or more interested than the other, or there can be an imbalance. But the Four of Wands is one of the more favorable relationship cards because it shows two people who have each other's backs. There's a lot of equity in the relationship, and anything that you want to do with respect to talking to people about pitching a project, expressing your love or appreciation for someone, expressing your concern, you're going to be well received. And there's a chance that people will come forward and invest the same amount of energy that you want to as well. All right, let's see what's coming through for next weekend. On Saturday, we have the Nine of Wands in reverse. I like to look at this as the card of perseverance. So if there's been challenges in your life, this card comes through as recognition of that, but also kind of giving you that pep talk that not only can you do this, but you will do this. There's no choice but to complete what you've started. In the traditional illustration, the person typically has a bandage on their forehead. So sometimes what happens is you might be having difficulty in concentrating. There could be even like a stress headache. There might just be a lot of thoughts ricocheting through your head. So what you want to focus on is stress management, talking things out with other people, and making sure that you're not overdoing things like drinking caffeine and just basically taking it easy that day. I was going to see if I could find the traditional card, but even if I can't, that's the main difference on that, is that sense of fatigue that can step in with that. Both the Nine of Wands and the Ten of Wands can have that fatigue. In this one, I'm just going to stick with this card to save time. They just put a headband instead. So one thing that you can do is kind of push back the noise, push back the sort of any of the sort of static that might be around you, and just focus on the important things and make that decision. I'm going to push through and finish what I've started. That's really what you can do next Saturday. As we look at Sunday, it's a chance to say no, and saying no is just as important as saying yes. And sometimes you have to start with the no. So Justice in reverse is about finding your balance, finding what's right and fighting for it, but also saying something doesn't serve me, or I don't want this. This isn't what I need. And it's one of the few words in the English language where it can also just be a sentence. No is both a word and it's also a complete sentence. No. Yes. You can just have either one with a period and it's a statement. So feel free to stand up for what you want. Feel free to express what you don't want, and feel free to stand your ground. And that might be the thing that's going to be the hardest to do. But that's the most important thing. This can also be righting a wrong. So for those of you that need to pursue legal matters or to take care of something that is just not the way it should be, this card is confirming that and saying, do what you need to do to find the balance, the justice that you need. And we have, of course, this beautiful butterfly here, which is showing that once you state that truth, once you decide to move in that direction, then some really transformative and exciting things can happen. All right, we're going to now move into an elemental forecast. The elemental forecast, this is going to be the only portion of today that is specific to the signs. So everything else is for those of you that showed up today, including the special topic, which is going to be breakthrough, how to get out of your way. I can't wait to get into that, by the way. All right, I think we're going to choose this one. Welcome, everybody. And yes, we did start early. Per the pinned comment, I want to make sure that I don't lose power or internet today since this is a live reading. So thank you so much. One thing that I forgot to mention was highlights and lowlights. We can do that real quick, but I'll do it after the elemental forecast. Fire, earth, air, and water. All right, let's take a look at each one of these, starting with fire signs. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Balance, this is what we were talking about. So we have a favorable card here, the Six of Pentacles. In this card, we have a bunch of little beetles all coming forth and looking for, it looks like food here or resources. The important thing to remember with the Six of Pentacles, and this is especially true of what we were talking about on the weekend, next Sunday, is know what to say yes to, know what to say no to. Typically, you would see someone with scales and coins, and they're deciding, how much am I ready and willing to give to you? How much do I need to just sustain my own happiness, well-being, and health? So you don't have to empty out the battery basically this week. That's the most important thing. When it comes to new ventures in your life, new things that you're starting, this is something where I'm really happy to say that this is the base card that I look for success, for just having enough, but it requires discernment. So as long as you make really good decisions with respect to how much of an impact you can make, you're going to have enough time and energy and money to make it happen this week. The only thing that I would also say this week is for you to make sure that you are not overcommitting. So sometimes it's usually more in the Seven of Pentacles, but I see a lot of people coming in on this one. So make sure that there's not this desire to try to please. Do what's right, do what's best, and know that people will respect and see that in the long run, okay? Overall, it's a great energy, and all of these signs have the ability to be strong. I've known Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius is in my life where I'm like, yeah, they can be strong, they can be fiery, they can say no when they need to. So please find that inner fire and hold your ground if you need to, okay? Moving from my fire signs to Earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you actually have a really productive week. So we have the Eight of Pentacles. It's one of my favorite cards. This is a curious illustration for the Eight of Pentacles. You'll notice that she's kind of like, she's getting frustrated, and there's some thorns on these pentacles. So Eight of Pentacles can have to do with like the fine print and the finer details and things. So some of you may be frustrated in needing to sort of like page through some of that. If you can think of it this way, when you work really, really hard on something, whether it's constructing a house, putting together a presentation, putting together some sort of an outfit, whatever it is that you're doing. It's the finishing details that really set you apart from someone else. And when you think about a nice restaurant, or again, maybe like a nice hotel, it is sometimes just those embellishments, the flowers in the lobby, the clean floors, the crown molding, whatever it is. Those little details are what makes the difference. The same is true in the little things in your life as well. Personal development that you're working on, if a presentation, whatever, just take the extra moment to make it count. I had a Reiki teacher once that said, don't do anything half-hearted. Always give it at least 100%. Give it your all. Others depend on you. And at the end of the day, that's going to be it's your reputation. It's your legacy that you're leaving behind. People will remember that you always came like 100%. So do it 100%, and don't get frustrated. It's going to be worth it in the long run. Eight of Pentacles can also be going back to school, writing something down, preparing something, editing something, and it's really close to completion with you could even see it as like 80% if you want to. Very close. And this is typically a card where you get a big return on your energetic investment. So Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, stay grounded, stay connected to this, and know that you're going to walk away from this at the end of the week feeling like, I did it. I really pushed through it. And I think that's connecting. Many of you are connecting to the Nine of Wands energy. And so just push through and finish what you set out to finish, okay? It's a good week, though, and it's a great energy for finances, even a little bit better than what we were seeing just a moment ago. All right, let's go from earth signs to air. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Love, relationships, social activities are starting to pick up a little bit. You're also really connecting to your creative side, and your signs are naturally connected to the arts because of your ability to see things from all angles, particularly my Libras out there. This is a great week for all of you. Love could also be coming through this week. So if you find yourself in a social situation, you're having a good time, you're not really looking to connect with someone else, they might be drawn to your energy. And so this is a great week to say yes to invitations. It's a great time to channel your creative ideas. And it's also just a better week, like mood-wise, for some of you as well. So if you've been feeling moody or not quite yourself, things are starting to take an uptick this week. And there could be love in the picture, or friendship, or just this sort of increased desire to be more social. And I absolutely encourage that. All right, let's move on to my water signs here. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You're connecting with the dreamy sort of energy of the Two of Wands, which came through on Tuesday when I was looking at the weekly forecast. This card is fun because we see the god Janus, which is connected with January. And it's the god of doorways or ends and beginnings, liminal spaces, the in-between. So, and we see very much like the Temperance angel, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And a big question that I've been seeing from my channeled messages to the cards is that question of, are you in or are you out? What's the next step? What do you want to do next? And that's what this card is coming through to say. It's also sort of, it's not like a pressure card, so don't feel pressure. This is more like, what do you desire? What kindles your flame a little bit? What are you going to do to make that happen? And it's also just saying, take stock and look at how far you've come, and look at where you're going, and see if there's anything that you want to do to course correct with that. So one of my favorite mythology sort of references here with Janus, and I think that we don't spend enough time looking at sort of like the present, and you have to sometimes see, look at how far and how hard it took me to get to this point. Let's celebrate that. Definitely do something for yourself this week in celebration and recognition of the hard work that you've done. Dream a little bit, and then put something into motion, plant a seed. I did that recently with a friend. We just talked to each other with intentions, and within the same day, we saw activity happening. So every day, set some intentions, plant some seeds. You never know when they're going to take root, and when you're going to start to see some progress. Because you've got the Janus card here and the Two of Wands, you should be able to see some movement this week. Okay, as promised, before we move forward, just a quick note on highlights and lowlights for the week ahead. I think one of the best days for many of you is going to be Tuesday here, because we had that vision work with the Two of Wands. I think that then we also see The end of the week looking really good with Thursday and Friday with Judgment and Four of Wands energy as well. So Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, highlights. I think the most challenging days are going to be Monday and Sunday, because Monday you have to manage stress and Sunday you have to say no, and these tend to be the more difficult things to do. Okay? Welcome everybody. We're getting to the special topic portion, and the special topic today is making a breakthrough. And I really like this because I think we can all benefit from it. And I meant it in the best sort of ways, like how can you get out of your own way? What I really mean with this is that I think that the universe always conspires to create success in our lives. We as human beings sometimes think that, the world is happening to us, but it's really happening for us. So I'm here today to open up those doorways, just like Janus, to help you see the opportunities so you don't focus on things that are not necessarily worth your time and energy, right? All right. Here we go. I'm going to use I forget the name of this deck. It'll come to me in a moment, but I like this one because it's a dreamy deck. Okay, everybody, welcome. Let's take a deep breath, take a drink of your coffee, your tea, or your water, and get ready for the special topic. Lots of Two of Wands coming through. It's time to plan. It's time to ground some of this stuff too. Six of Pentacles. I love reading with different decks and getting the same cards. It's just showing synchronicities and that these are the things that we need to focus on. Four of Pentacles, yet again, and I think this is the exact illustration for the card that I pulled this week. So many synchronicities. And Justice reversed. And yeah, by the way, you can go to my website if you ever want to see, it's just nicholasashbaugh.com. If you ever want to see any of the decks, there's actually in the main navigation, it's like decks that I use. You can find out what I'm using. I don't have oracles up yet, but I do have all of the tarot ones. Oh, we have a hidden card here. Okay. Put this down here so you can see it. Oh, thanks Dakota for joining. I wasn't sure because I went earlier. It's good to have you here. I had to make an executive decision today and start early, so. Okay, let's begin. We're going to start off with the Catalyst card. The Catalyst, of course, helps us take proper action in our life. We got two cards today. So the hidden card was the Heart, and we have the Castle. They're both at different angles. So we're going to just read these as unexpected in different ways. So the Castle came through on its side. So for many of us, we're looking at rebuilding structures in our life. Some of you might be, it reminds me of the Sting or Police song, I think it was Sting, where he built a fortress around his heart or whatever. So some of you are deciding to take down that sort of boundary and barrier. Sometimes we build the protective walls too high. And so this is a chance to sort of let the walls down or let the drawbridge down and allow opportunity to come in. This could also represent for some of you a chance to look at different places to live. You might be reassessing your living situation, your roommate situation, your partnership situation with the Castle on its side. It's kind of, to me, a reorganization card. Not as significant as like a Tower energy, but definitely reassessing what the home looks like. And that's what I'm picking up on that. Connecting to that, the hidden card was the Heart, and the Heart is upside down. So some of you are finally tuning in and deciding like, Am I going to follow my heart? Because we see it's almost like Six of Cups energy, or it's not Six of Cups, but Six of Swords energy at the center. And so this is a chance for you to make some movement, make some strides in the right direction, right? And if we combine the two, definitely for those of you that are looking for a new apartment, home, or working situation, it needs to feel right. I was talking to a former neighbor that's coming back to LA, and I said, you know, she made a move. She didn't really listen to her heart. I'm like, this time listen to your heart, especially when it comes to jobs and living situations. It has to feel right. You know, last year I had a lot of ups and downs when I was trying to find a place, partly because there was just some family drama. And I realized just slow down and find a place. So I stayed in an Airbnb for a little bit until I could find the right place. So I didn't rush into a situation again. I think it's so important to find a way so that you're not making an emotional decision or making a decision without having proper sort of grounding and a clear head. Yeah, I want you to listen to your heart, but you don't want to be doing it out of fear, frustration, or dismay. So make sure that you're in a good balanced space when you're using that heart energy. All right, let's zoom out just a smidge. There we go. And let's take a look quickly at just the Celtic Cross overall and see if there's any messages here. Again, this is going to be for the week ahead, but a lot of times this will take us through the next 6 to 8 weeks as well. What do I like about this? Well, I like that boss energy is coming through. I like this strategic Five of Wands as well. And this sort of, there's a lot of empowerment coming through. The hardest thing for you guys is going to be saying no and figuring out how to stand your ground. So let's take a look at this, especially when it comes to relationships. But we'll take it one card at a time, starting with the Two of Wands at the center. This is a really cool Two of Wands. So typically you will see a globe or a crystal ball, and then the two wands on either side of the person. And it is, in this deck, sort of illustrated as taking something and breathing life into it, bringing it into the planet. So dreaming, then doing. That's really the call to action this week. So what does that mean, you're saying, Nicholas? Well, intentions are good. Dreams are good, plans are good, but by the end of the week, by next Sunday, make sure that you're making efforts every day. It can be as simple as writing the intentions down today, then taking a step on Monday to make a phone call, set up a meeting, do some research. Just put 2 or 3 things on the calendar that create space so that you'll do it. And block off time so that other people can't take that time from you. So keeping an appointment with yourself, making time with yourself to create, to dream, and then to make it happen. Because otherwise it's just like a recipe in the kitchen that doesn't get used. Get the recipe off from the top shelf, get the ingredients out and start cooking this week. That's what this Two of Wands is asking you to do. And then guess what we got again? The Six of Pentacles. Speaking of cooking, it's tea time. So we're going to spill the truth here, spill the tea. What you're really going to be focusing on is a question with each drop of time and energy. Does this bring me closer? Does this make a difference? Is it worth it? If not, I have to be truthful. And then you just say, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to focus on this. So your time is valuable. Your energy is even more valuable. And you've really got to spend it wisely this week. And if you do, then your dreams come true. And that's a really nice message. If you don't, it takes longer. We don't want delays here. So how can I help you get out of your own way? By saying no, as we talked about. It came through multiple times here. Both of these cards, Justice Reverse and the Six of Pentacles, are about getting out of your way. And yes, someone's mentioning the pruning. So prune out unnecessary activities. So for those of you that, you have a lot of things in your schedule, but you're not necessarily getting stuff out of it, or people aren't appreciating it, this is where you can prune without feeling bad at all. It's like, I've done that, for many, there's certain things that I've done in this lifetime where I'm like, I never have to repeat that again. I learned the lesson and then some. So prune that out. If you're hanging out with people and they exhaust you, prune that out. If you're just feeling like, if there's a question you don't even know why you're doing it, prune that out as well, and allow for then some time to dream and plan and recuperate. Celebrate some of the little successes. I like the Nine of Cups. It is a card that comes through to say, are you having a good time? Are you enjoying yourself? It's good to relax. It's good to have some fun and she's definitely living it up. There's a lot of abundance and a lot of treating herself in this card. Obviously, with the Nine of Cups, there is a reminder to not go to extremes. So both 9 and 3, but especially the Nine of Cups, sometimes we can go too far in any direction. It's also a mood card. So if you're in a mood one day where it just feels like the world is, the sky is falling, or it's the best day ever, those are two extremes, and they both have their purpose, but they're not, you can't stay in the high or in the low. We really want to spend our time kind of moving between the two. So if you hit a low, it's sort of like, what can I learn from this? How can I make sure that I'm processing everything? What are my next steps? And I'm going to make little steps of progress. When you're on a real high note, it's sort of like, all right, I'm going to try to maintain, maybe you plateau for a bit. Maybe you're going to step back a little bit, allow for a little break, and then kind of, hopefully you don't have to go too low. You can just kind of dip right back up, and it can be this sort of nice, gentle wave of progress. Or you're going more like this. So maybe just avoiding the spikes is one of the messages here. It doesn't have to be the best or worst day ever. It can just be a day. And we don't need to judge things so harshly, right? See the blessings in every day and work past those challenges. Let me take a quick drink, but I'll let you look at the cards while I'm doing that. Alrighty, so Four of Pentacles as a lesson from the past, still coming through. So that's a deep past, not going to extremes, giving yourself a chance to have some fun. Four of Pentacles in reverse. Again, this is one of the nicer illustrations for it. You have to open up your heart to new opportunities. By protecting yourself, by not allowing people in, as we were seeing possibly with like the Castle card. Yes, you'll protect yourself, but you may also not experience new things. And it's kind of like trying new food. It's worth tasting something to see how it sits with you. You don't have to eat the whole thing. You can take just a little sample and think, take another bite, okay. And you either like it or you don't, and you don't have to go all in. So just kind of like allow yourself to open up a little bit to taste, to test, to explore new things. Because again, we can even see it more clearly in this card. There's a locking down or shutting off that happens with this. So open up to more, and also open up to more abundance. So don't be surprised. In fact, expect and hope for more than what you've gotten in the past, because we already see it. If you can imagine more, you can achieve it. Two of Wands, Six of Pentacles. That's in the past. This is in the present. Okay? Now let's take a look here at your crowning card. We have the Two of Cups in reverse. You may be in a situation where you just want to step back from a relationship or a person in your life because, and I've had this before, like because I'm empathic, it's almost like they're breathing down your neck. When you're really, really close with someone and you share a lot of energy, their highs and lows become your highs and lows, and you have to think for a moment, wait a second, where do I start? Where do they begin? What's going on here? So some of you are doing that Eight of Cups moment where it's just sort of like, I need to gather my thoughts, I need to ground my energy, and I need to figure out where I'm at. There can be someone in your life that also is a little demanding, or a little bit of like a helicopter personality coming in and out. So this is you just making sure that it doesn't have to be sort of all or nothing. It's just protecting your space a little bit. If someone offers you something in love or in life and it's just not good enough, this is also making sure that the reciprocity is there. This can be an unrequited love or a pushy love or something where it's just not matching up. Don't force it. It should be kind of easy when it comes to that. Friendship is often that way. You can just hang out with someone, you talk about stuff, there's no agenda, it's fun. We need a little bit of that this week for you. So if you're pushing too hard on a relationship, in any aspect of your life, whether it's mentorship, love, or like anything really, friendship as well, step back a little. Let the other person come to you, or let there be some space, because we don't want to sort of like snuff out that energy. We want to allow it to breathe. Okay. We have King of Wands coming through in the near future. So leading the charge is one of your kind of opportunities, one of the glimmering gems here in this spread here. What's cool about this illustration is he's marching to the beat of his own unique drum and his own sort of vision. No one else is in the picture. He's cool with that. He's not looking for validation externally. I mean, it's good to have, but it's sort of like he's following his passion here, and he's setting the tempo, he's setting the tone. And so many of you are getting a chance to step forward and set the tone. And maybe it's not been done before. That's okay. That's what leadership and innovation looks like, okay? This might also be a time where you have to fight to be heard. That's why he's drumming. So if you're in a room with really loud people, you can also make some noise, and that's what this card is showing. One thing that's important, a band cannot function if the drummer's bad, right? The drummer is going to get the vocalist, the guitar, the bass, everybody else is going to be off if the beat is wrong. If it's too fast or if it's too slow, it's a mess. So look at your life situations and look at the pacing of it, and adjust the pacing so that everything can be harmonious. You're the metronome, you're the drummer. So speed it up, slow it down, find the tempo that works for you, and then you're going to get that like dream band around you, okay? But it's up to you to set the tempo. As I'm looking at you, strategy is what's coming through loud and clear with this. We have a 5 of Wands card. Some of you may be working too hard, too often, too much. Something's up here and there's a chance to be more strategic about it. So the card is reversed and it's saying, is each move getting me further ahead or further behind? Also, when it comes to collaborative experiences, are we competing or are we sort of like working on the same page? So there may be too much competition, there may be a lack of strategy, there may be an opportunity just to see how it all aligns and to also think 1 or 2 steps ahead. So rather than just thinking of today or tomorrow, think of next week, next month, next year. Go a little further into the distance and be more strategic. Then there won't be a need to be competitive. Then you're going to see why it's worth doing the work that you're doing, because motivation might be lacking right now. But once you plan, once you see how it all connects, the motivation comes back for many of you. Okay. Environmentally, interesting card here. I quite like the sun. I mean, the sun is one of the best cards you can pull. When it comes through in the reverse state, there could be a feeling of, why won't you let me have my independence? The sun card can also be like a child being born. This can be the connecting thread, the umbilical cord between you and a person that's tugging at your power. So boss, friend, lover, parent, anybody that you truly are very, very close to. It's you kind of fighting for the freedom to get that umbilical cord disconnected. There could be something that you've been holding on to, much like we saw here with the 4 of Pentacles for too long, and it wants to come forth now. It's saying, let me go, let me out into the world, a project, an idea, a next step in your life. And for many of you, this is just saying that if you were due something for a long time, it's coming through now. So this is, it can be a reward, it can be something really great that's finally coming through, and that's a great thing. Unexpected surprises. This could be like a pregnancy, an announcement, love, because by the way, this is connected to love. In many decks, the sun is a lover's card in disguise. So there could be someone that's really sort of just charismatic that comes marching into your life, fire sign for some of you, and it's unexpected love. So you have to think, some of you are asking yourself, whatever the relationship is, friendship, love, or business, it's like, do I want to get wrapped up in this? Because it's a lot. And that's a question, when we go into love, we'll go a little deeper into that, but that's something you'll have to answer for yourself. All right, let me take a quick drink and then we're going to look at everybody's favorite, and I say that with a wink and a nod, the 7 of Swords. The 7 of Swords comes through when we need to get real. Let's look at this illustration and then I'll find the traditional one while we're talking. So this came through reverse. That is good for the 7 of Swords because it tells me you're going to be able to see through to true motives, you're going to be able to see through illusions, etc. This one is illustrated as someone who is selfish. There could be someone in your surroundings who has self-serving motives. and they're willing to do whatever they need to do to make themselves happy or to achieve their ends, even if that means not telling the complete truth, or they're maybe, I mean, that's a lie. It's not, basically when you withhold information, it's not, I guess, as blatant as a regular lie, but it's still a lie. So there could be someone that's just not telling the full story. That's what I'm picking up on here. Here's the traditional Seven of Swords. It's really easy when you see the traditional picture to get it. It's someone that kind of knows they should do better, but they don't. So if you see someone doing this, call it out. I like this one because in the far distance, you can see other people, possibly what we're seeing here with the Five of Wands, the strategy, the competition, all this. There's something going on, and meanwhile, in the foreground, someone else is getting away with something. So this is why I really want you to be aware of your surroundings, to take time. That's why we talked about temperance earlier. Tune in, kind of see what's going on around you so that you don't miss that. And if you see it, call it out. Now, back to the special topic. How can you get out of your own way? Be honest with yourself. It begins within. So many times the Seven of Swords is just the little white lie that we tell to ourselves. This won't matter that much. I'll start this tomorrow. They don't really care. I can do this. No one's going to find, so don't do that. Be very accountable. And also it can be the little things that we tell other people, but we don't follow through. If you say you're going to call. If you say we should hang out, make a plan in the next week or so. Follow through on statements so that you become a person who is trustworthy, accountable, powerful, basically the King of Wands. So it all starts with those little statements that we don't think that matter, but they all add up. Okay, that's it. Now let's take a look at your outcome. This is the most important card, and it came through again both of these were in the final card. I think it was next Sunday, right? So now we have the outcome, which is aligned to next Sunday, which is also just saying whatever it is you're trying to create in your life, it begins and it ends with this card, which is it right for me? Is this something that's creating balance? Is it just? If I need to say no, am I saying no? So creating balance, stating limits, finding and fighting for what's right in your life, all of this stuff matters right now. There also could be this amazing air sign, a Libra, coming into your life. But for many of you, this is just speaking your mind and using your voice. And that could actually be the most important thing in this special topic. It's speaking up when you need to, saying what's right, and being honest with it, because isn't it interesting that we have three really powerful cards here? So the Sun in reverse can be self-serving, by the way. It can be a selfish person. There could be someone in your environment that is that way. And this is standing up and saying, stop that, or I need that, or kind of righting that wrong. This is also maybe you needing to fight for yourself because no one else has. We need to kind of balance out your needs, others' needs, ego, all of these sort of things. And then the fear of just saying the truth, speaking the truth, because that's ultimately what justice is. The truth will set you free. Okay, let's expand this forecast and take a look at the energies of health, wealth, love, and destiny. And each one of these is multifaceted. And the first one we're going to look at is health. And as you can see with the disclaimer here, I'm not a substitute for your therapist or for your financial advisor or a medical person, but what I will look at is energy and how the energy affects these sections of your life. And as we look at how health is coming through this month, it says, I'm supported on my path. The card is reversed, which is saying for some of you, you're afraid to ask for support. Some of you may be doubting your own capacity to support yourself. So this is a sort of nuanced card, if you will. The dragonfly is on that, which is reminding you to go higher in your speech and your thoughts. High frequency insects like butterflies, moths, and dragonflies, they go through metamorphosis. They change, they adjust, and the dragonfly in particular moves really fast, kind of like a hummingbird, and it can kind of navigate in places that others can't. So you can move more quickly than you might give yourself credit for. You can navigate through a tricky situation, and you can change. You are changing. It's okay to change. If anyone tells you that you can't or tries to hold you back, that's the first thing to pay attention to and address. Let's look at the rest of the health-related messages here. Four of Pentacles has to do with holding something near and dear to your heart, sometimes holding on to grief. Letting go of something is hard, especially when it's a memory, especially when you didn't get a chance. Someone left, or someone passed on, or something was taken from you and you're like, but that was mine. So what this is saying is there's more to come. And we can see that there's good things on the horizon here, but first things first is letting go of what's already sort of transitioned out. And so there's an emotional component there. There's a lot going on with relationships this month. We saw that especially for air signs when I was looking at the elements. So if you feel like your relationship is kind of fogging up your ability to think, I get it. And we got that here with the heart too. So for some of you, just finding your space, finding a way to clear your mind is going to be essential. Solar plexus energy. Some of you are feeling a lot around the stomach because of the sun and because of the umbilical cord connection that we have there. So digestion. Also, some of you might be feeling like butterflies, nerves, things that are kind of centering in this space. Obviously, you'll work with a doctor if that's happening, but energetically, what you can do is strengthen the core. So that's something to think about. And allowing yourself to step into new things and experience new things is going to help with that energy center as well. It's time for many of you, when you're ready, to officially step away from an unhealthy person, place, or thing. It could be something that you eat. It could be a habit in your life. It could be a person in your life. But this is the time. This is a breakup or separation card. And it's also saying, like, I'm not going to get in my own way. I'm really, really ready this time. Don't say it until you mean it. And that's a biggie when it comes to all of this. That's everything. Did we get the Nine of Swords here? No. For those of you that had that earlier, though, because some of you had it when I was looking at the elements, and it actually came through for all of us on Monday. Just make sure that when you sleep, that you're not listening to something, music, radio, podcast, or whatever that is distracting, or television. Try to give yourself a little bit of buffer between when you're ready to go to sleep and when you go to sleep, so that your mind has a chance to recalibrate and get used to that new sort of sacred space. And that is really what sleep is for me. And I'm sure many of you out there, it's a chance to connect to your higher self, to astrally project, to repair and recharge. So don't short yourself of that. And if you need help, ask for help. Okay, let's move on to wealth. Resources, life purpose, and career. Rarely is it constrained to the number signs and currency in your bank account. It's more than that. It's more about like how much you have to give in love and in time and in energy. So in the wealth card, we have Medicine Mother, and it says honor your inner knowing. It's a pretty powerful card. So when I look at this, it's kind of like a combination of Magician, High Priestess, and Empress all wrapped up in one, right? Because we have the birthing energy there, even a little bit of the Queen of Wands because of the sunflower. So you are the boss of your own life, because we're getting that multiple times here, but it's time to do something that makes a difference. So Medicine Mother in wealth is saying, I'm going to fix my finances, I'm going to fix my resources, but I'm also going to do things in my life that are creating or fixing or improving the world. In other words, leave things better than you found them. And I think this is a great way in every aspect of your life. Love, relationships, money, people, apartments, whatever. It should be equal to or better than you found it. Never leave it worse. So this is about fixing the things in your life that aren't where they need to be. And if it is time, energy, and money, this is where you should put your focus right now. Let's look at the cards and see how you can fix things, what you should be focusing on, etc. Well, there's good news, folks. Like, I already see an improvement with respect to your money and to your time. And we've talked about it a lot here. Speeding up, slowing down. You set the pace, you say yes or no, and you get to think about what's next. This is the key, folks. Let's focus on this for a second. I didn't start doing this until I was older. I had there was a dietitian who called it out. She's like, "Why do you just keep going to the same types of companies?" Because I used to work in entertainment companies, and there's only so many. Whether you're in marketing or medical or corporate, like there's always like a top 3 or 4, and I just was kind of rotating between all of them. And she's like, "When are you going to slow down and realize you're not happy, and that's why you're not healthy, and that's why you're exhausted, and nutrition and all of these other things are only going to help you so far. You've got to change the path." I waited like 10 more years before I did. So don't wait like I did. Look around and see what else you can do that engages you. I didn't have the examples in my life where people had their own company or went out on their own or did their own business, which is ultimately what I ended up doing. But I just did it, and then I'm like, oh, I could have done this a long time ago. I wish I knew that, because I probably would have done it from day one. So explore all the avenues and ask questions and see what other successful people are doing. And don't keep doing the same thing, and don't do what's expected of you. See what the options are, because that could open up even more. The dreaming portion, the research portion, the why not portion is the most important piece, okay? And so instead of just going to the same template, think to yourself, sometimes you have to. Sometimes you've got bills, you've got a partner and children, all that. But beyond that next choice, what's beyond that? You can always think one more step ahead. That's what this is about, folks, strategy. Okay, I have to do this now, but how about this? How can I come out of this feeling like I'm a winner? Checkmate, right? So you're going to figure out 2, 3, or 4 steps from now what it's going to look like. We're all sometimes in the throes of necessity doing what we have to do, but what's the big picture? That's what the universe is asking you right now to do, to get out of your own way. Then take charge. Then get real. Then you can say no or quit or set into motion something that feels better for you. Okay? Some of you are waiting too long to launch something or do something, and this is about letting go and stepping forward and getting real with the planning. This is about planning and doing, and I feel like we've talked quite a bit about all of that. So here's the long and the short of it. You can create some really exciting things this week, some really exciting beginnings. She's coming through to remind you of your power, and power of just a simple action, simple word, or just putting some plans down, okay? Partnerships are really important right now. We have the 2 of Cups, so you do have support. You might have people coming in that want to help you out. There could be some trust issues coming through. Just get a good lawyer if that's the case, if you're dealing with a new partnership in business in particular. Look beyond your current geography. The 2 of Wands, like the World card, like the 10 of Wands, has a travel aspect to it. So look elsewhere. You got to keep looking. It is out there, but it might not be obvious. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. This is romantic, platonic, friends and family, at least with the first card. And we have a reversal here, but I need to read it in the upright position. El Moira, awakening presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. So some of you, again, we're looking at protection. Maybe it's sort of a question of, when do I let my guard down? When can I allow someone to come in? And that is something where you have to kind of build up the trust. But we can't walk 24/7, 365 and a quarter with guards up all the time. There are certain people in our life that we'll let in. There are certain opportunities where you're open. And this is about figuring out that cadence of protection versus engagement. And you'll know when it's the right person. You'll know when it's the right situation. This is also an encouragement for meditation is a natural way to sort of create this easy psychic protection. So if you just start tuning in, even just a quick way to do this is to close your eyes, and you can trace the walls with light in your mind's eye, and just even reach out and touch them, and you can start to get more connected to the space of your home. This will help you with all sorts of things, especially like I can usually sense if there's something that's going to happen in a part of the house, because I meditate in different rooms and tune into the energy. So I'm like, there's probably something going on under the kitchen sink, or I feel like there might be something with this window. Like I can usually tell if there's going to be a problem before it happens because I've tuned into the space. You can do that to your body, you can do that to parts of your life, and just really get connected with it. And then you'll be able to see when something or someone is creating friction or an issue with that. So take time to meditate and really imagine yourself surrounded in light, and especially the spaces that you work, live, and travel. See those energies and really get a good feel for them. And then you'll notice when something changes. It's a cool meditation exercise. Let's see what else is coming through here. Okay, now we're going to look at someone could be coming into your life. So awakening presence, new love, birthing energy, the sun. That's why I want you to get comfortable with things in your life, because you'll be able to see the person coming. You'll be able to sort out if you can trust them or not as well. All right, let's take a look real quick at 3 different aspects of relationships, those in love, looking for love, or single and happy. If you're in a relationship already, here are the things to focus on. Something big is coming through. So the sun can literally be a baby. It can also be one of you deciding to do something big in your life. A new job, a new career path, something that you just didn't expect before, but this is development. So if not a baby, then a development announcement or something big. And if not in your like your partnership, then it might be in your extended group because it's showing up in the environment. So that takes a little bit of focus. What's good for someone else may not be good for you. Whether it's your partner or it's the extended family or whatever, stand up for what you want. Know that sometimes that means going your own way, but it's important to be honest. The most important thing in relationships that's going to make or break them right now is the ability to speak truthfully. Without the truth, it's a house of cards. With the truth, there could still be someone who's not happy with it, but it will be liberating and it will give you the balance you need. It's better than trying to hold that truth back. So the number one piece of advice for existing relationships is embrace what's developing, speak the truth, and know that that truth will, no matter what, be better than holding on to something. Can you navigate challenges? Absolutely. It is about give and take, not getting so wrapped up in that other person that you feel like it's all them or nothing. You have to find the balance between the two of you. So reestablishing balance, speaking from the heart, and being willing to stand your ground if you need to. Okay? It's pretty manageable overall, but this is the hardest part, is just the honesty. But that's key to a long-term relationship. Okay, if you are looking for love, yes, you can find love. We've got the Two of Cups and we have the King of Wands here. So we even see the kind of energy. This is a bold energy. This is a passionate energy. This is someone who comes marching in and saying what they want, maybe a little bit too bossy for you. I also think that it's important for you to say if you don't want something. You might also be meeting someone who's, I like this energy over this. This could be someone who's contrary. So take a moment here to tune in, to slow down, and to really get to know new people in your life, because the Seven of Swords can be, again, something that isn't quite shown on the first date or even the first couple of dates, okay? And make sure you both want the same things. I think that work is coming through as a primary focal point, so make sure that you balance out your work, your finances, your other things first, so that this new love, if it's something that you want, has enough space in your life. Single and happy. If you're single and happy, then you have a really good chance of achieving balance this month. Balance. It feels like also, let's not sort of like overlook that we're seeing more abundance coming through here. I feel like many of you are going to just find new opportunities that are inviting here. And you might be surprised at how quickly one of them takes off. So because you're not focusing as much on relationships, you can actually take whatever's going on here and bring it to the next level, which is great. All right, let's move on to destiny. We have the Elk card coming through here. And to me, the Elk represents Emperor energy. We see the a kind of like eclipsed sun here. So for some of you, you might be, for the first time, noticing what it's like to be either on your own or stepping into the forefront. Because what I think of when I see an eclipse is that you see like the corona of the sun that's always been there. You see something that wasn't always there. You also get to look at the world in a different light. So some of you are seeing an energy that you didn't know you had, a leadership quality that you didn't know you had. And it's maybe about sort of stepping into that and embracing that. There could also be someone really bossy in your life, and you have to sort of like show that you mean business. Because that's what all those antlers are for, just kind of like competition. We were talking about that earlier. It's usually competition for a mate, but we could just see this as saying, I'm here for the long haul, I'm in it to win it, and I'm gonna make this happen. So that's really kind of back into the Two of Wands and the Seven of Swords, and even like we saw Judgment coming through this week. You have to really decide, I want this, I mean business, I'm ready. When you really feel like you're ready, that's when things will start to open up. The universe wants to make sure, and that's kind of like your last card there, is making sure. All right, so what I'd like to do at this point is take a look at a big idea for today. So let me just reread this, how to get out of your own way. I think we can do this in one card. So let's shuffle the cards and see what the universe has to say with respect to movement, growth, expansion, which is really what this is. Knight of Cups. So this, we have, it's interesting, and I see people commenting too about action. So a knight is typically riding a horse, but why not an elk as well? So we see what are you going to do to move this forward? In this one, we see the heart being the central focus, and also a lotus blossom, so beautiful. Knight of Cups is going to take necessary action to find that harmony that might be missing in their life. If you've been through some stuff, whenever there is one of these lotus blossoms or a lily blossom, everything that you went through, all of the murky, challenging waters, it was worth it, because you are going to appreciate, embrace, and thrive because you know what the alternative is, and you know how hard it took, how long it took, and how hard you worked, I should say, to get to this point. So I see a silver lining for many of you. So just keep pushing. One of the other things here, though, is to follow your heart. And there's been so many musical cards that have come through today. This is your own rhythm, your own story. It's your own tapestry that you're weaving. You're not singing anyone else's song but your own, okay? So I'm encouraging you to really be happy and to do something that feels authentic and feels like it's you. This is what's necessary. And if it isn't, knights aren't afraid to take a right, a left, or to go backward and fix something. So it needs to sit well here. And if it does, everything opens up. And if it doesn't, then that's what you have to focus on, okay? Just beautiful, though. We see beauty after a period of struggle. We see someone who knows now how to tap into their heart. And we also see someone who's not going to be played by anybody. They understand how to work things. And they can use their own passion to pull people in. So it's all the best aspects of the Knight of Cups. There could be love, by the way, for some of you too. Opening yourself up to partnership is another thing. Okay, we are now going to get ready for the latter portion of today. Thank goodness we got through this without any outages so far. I don't want to jinx it, but yay. Before I get into the next portion, to make sure that you never miss out in case I change times like I had to this morning, do me a favor, hit the bell icon in particular and opt into all notifications. Subscribe and like as well. That will help with having YouTube say this is a decent video and other people will find it. All right, also give me a follow on social media. It's at Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms. And if you ever need to kind of figure out who I am, where I'm at, you can go to my website. And also, we still have a little bit of time. If you want to give some love and support, you can do that through a super sticker, super chat. All right, let's get ready for the final component of today. It comprises three things. We're going to do a meditation together, and then I'm going to look at a sound bath as well. Then I'm going to look at a final card. So for today's meditation, let's look at the table for a second and see what I want to focus on for you. I like the energy of the Two of Wands. We got a couple of Two of Wands today. We had the one with Janus, and we have this one here. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a combination of the two. So if you wouldn't mind, get in a comfortably seated position, or you can listen to this later when you're more able to meditate. Close your eyes if you will. Take a nice deep breath. Let go of any tension that you're holding on in your shoulders, back, or neck. Stretch a little bit if you need to. Take a nice deep breath as well. Breathing and inhaling and exhaling at your own pace as much as you need to. When you're ready now, just close your eyes and listen to the sound of my voice. I'd love for you to focus on this. Imagine that you're in like this mystical castle and you're standing at the biggest possible archway that you've ever seen. And it's beautiful. What I see in my mind's eye is almost like this crystalline castle. So you can see through it, the light is coming through it, and there's this doorway. And just like the god of ends and beginnings or passages or liminal spaces, Janus, you have the ability to see everything that you've done to get to this point in time. And you're afforded a glimpse of the possibilities in front of you. You're also able to, with your heart, project something that you'd like to see. So hold the view of past and future and decide what it is today, tomorrow, and over the next 7 days that you're going to do to get closer to the vision in front of you. As you're doing this, imagine that the rising sun is pulling you closer to whatever it is that you're creating, and just allow yourself to feel nurtured and allow your vision to be clarified. I'm going to play a singing bowl while we do this, and we'll be right back in 1 minute to look at your final question. Anything that I haven't yet answered, I'll be happy to look at. But in the meantime, just relax. Allow for your gaze from the past and the future now to come into the present, focusing on this moment, this breath, this very next step that you're going to take, feeling secure, feeling balanced, feeling stable, knowing what you want, knowing what you don't want. Allowing yourself now to step into this week with a sense of clarity, confidence, and decisiveness. Take a deep breath. And on the next natural exhale, I'd like you to open your eyes. And now is your opportunity to focus on a single question that I haven't yet answered. And I'm going to shuffle the cards and see what Spirit has to say with respect to that. Hold it to yourself. Don't type it into chat. Let's just see what's coming through. We have a wish fulfilled card here with the Page of Swords. I really love the dandelion seeds that we see flying in the air on this one. So pages are good at communication. They're good at sending and receiving. So you're going to be doing a little bit of both this week. The sending piece is going to be through meditation, prayer, and journaling for some of you, because there is power in the 3 or 4 different ways that you can get a thought out. First, you've got to get the thought. So give yourself time to dream. Once you have the thought, then speak it and write it. So that's going to be what this Page of Swords helps you do. Write it in your journal, speak it to yourself, tell someone else about it. Swords is also active and action. So that's the 4th thing that you'll do, is to And it's represented here by kind of like the wind that comes out, or the breath that comes out of his lungs that sends those seeds into action. But you're going to literally kind of do some things to plant the seeds. So that's a call, that's an email, that's a meeting. All of these are probably going to involve communication. So communicating and actively working things through into existence. That's really what this week is about for you. Pages also listen. So the page needs to look around, needs to listen to themselves, listen to others, listen to the environment, and look at the signs and analyze the signs the same way that I do with dreams and I do with the cards. You can do with your everyday signs and signals, okay? It's a very receptive, perceptive, and active card. It's very much connected to a yes, but the yes has a big old caveat with it, which is, yes, but you have to do the work this week. And if you do the work, then you see the results, okay? Hopefully that resonated for all of you. It was really nice to be here today and to read for you. Again, just a quick reminder of my social media in case you need to follow me there. By the way, I forgot to mention that I don't give private readings and I don't use direct messages. So if you ever see someone doing that on social media, you know it's not me. Thank you to everybody that gave back today. I saw we got a bunch of contributions. So give me a moment here and I'll get kind of set up. Before I do that, by the way, a quick reminder that I publish new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And I live streams every Sunday. Usually it's 9 a.m. Pacific. It was earlier today because of the tropical storm. And anyway, you can see all of this on my main channel page, including the daily card reads. All right, let's take a moment now just to give some gratitude for everybody that's present today, including Dakota. Thank you so much for showing up today. I know I didn't give you a lot of notice, so I appreciate that. All right, give me 1 second here and I'm going to welcome the newest members. And I know that Dakota did a great job of doing that while I was doing the reading here, but we'll start first with the newest members and then those that gave back with super stickers. So Joan, Haley, and Juice Dog, thank you guys for joining or rejoining today. Good to have you here and I appreciate your contributions. Give me a moment here to say thanks to those that gave with super stickers or super chat. And then we'll wrap up, and then hopefully everyone will have a safe and happy weekend. So to the following folks, I just want to say thank you. Renee, much appreciated. Carmen. Renita, thanks for giving a little bit extra. I appreciate that. Jeannie Hart. Enzo. Paula, thank you for the lucky 8s. I appreciate that, and for the generosity. Lucy, pauses and passages. Cynthia, Catherine, Jeannie, Kathy, Allison. Eileen, good to see you as well, and thank you for the extra. I appreciate that. Pearl, Adele, Kathy, Samantha, Z, Aaron, Lucy, Pearl, thank you as well for giving a little bit extra. I appreciate that. And Kim. And I think I got everybody here. And so thanks everybody for being a part of today's reading. Thanks to the universe for not giving me a power outage or internet outage. I was worried this morning. Wishing you all health and happiness and the ability to see your dreams to fruition. I really do appreciate your time and presence here today. Wishing you all the best now and always. Take care and be well, everybody, okay? Bye-bye. Thank you.